What's up, everybody? My name is KSaun. Welcome back to the WDL. This is Season 3, Week 4 of the Wezette Division, and let's take a look at the standings before we head into these games. First place, we've got a two-way tie between two new players, Chisei of the Heretics and Numero 80 of the Blind Enthusiasts, both with 9 points in that +4 overall game win-loss record. MacRain of the Materia Hunters and Greatestness of State Military not far behind with 7 points currently. MacRain does have that head-to-head tiebreaker, edging Greatestness out, so he is currently in third. Shadow 91 of the Logic Breakers received his first loss last week, but is still holding strong with 6 points with that 2-1-0 record. Ram 9 of the Rock Boys, our defending Season 2 champion, has been pretty middle of the road in our division at this moment. I know he is looking to try and get some more wins on the board to climb up there to make sure he makes the playoffs. Not far behind him is my team, the Zanarkand Abes, and along with Garouken of Corked and Screwed. I do want to mention real quick, I made an error on the graphic after week 3. I said that Garouken was -1 in his total game win loss, same as my team. That was actually incorrect. Garouken actually was -2 at that moment, not -1, so I did list my team above his in this instance. As Garouken, the only series he has won was a 2-1 series. The only series that I won was a 2-0 series, so you can see how that math kind of checks out. 25th Bam of Black Turtles in 9th place with 2 points, and Mr. Aloha of Team #Pokesquid with 1. And guys, that is how it looks heading into week 4. We've got some awesome best of 3s. Let's jump into them. Game 1 of this Wezette series, and we've got Mr. Aloha always on the left side with a double dark composition of Kane, Halloween Lucia, and Alim. On the other side, we've got Ram 9 and the Rock Boys with Reagan, Miranda, and Murmur, the full Red Mage squad on the other side. Looks like Kane is going to pop the Revitalize, get some AP going, and basically walk forward. Spell of Fortification coming out from Halloween Lucia. Very typical buff for her, getting her HP shield online, as well as some AoE resist for the party. And Alim, all the way on the side, going for a flank option. It looks like Rebel Grace coming out from Miranda. This is the Astrius TMR. So very interesting turn order coming out. Murmur with the fast cast on the Reagan, and I imagine Ram 9 is going to try and haste the entire squad here. Leave This to Me comes out from Reagan. This is going to be Dark, Wind, Resist. Dark going to be pretty massive, actually, going against a double Dark squad here, as the Rebel Grace refresh here, as it is that weird kind of diamond shape AoE. Halloween Lucia going to buff and walk forward, as Kane is going to go with Immortal Spirit. Get a Courage online, so he's going to have to be killed twice. And Alim, what does she have left? She goes for Momentum. So this is the King Bradley TMR, so she's got double buffs going on here. She's very hasted up, and I'm curious to see what she can do in this composition. So another fast cast coming out from Murmur. I imagine this is on Miranda. Not sure if it will be her or... Yep, it is onto Miranda. Wasn't sure if it would be herself or Miranda, but here we go. And this is a channel coming out from Miranda. Water Go Dispeller. Only 1,000 damage. That was tanked insanely well by Mr. Aloha's Alim. I know the elemental disadvantage, but still, that was very impressive. Azure Blade Strike going to hit Kane. He's going to live with Courage, though. And here come the double dark units. What can they get done? Halloween Lucia is going to channel a spell. Kane's up next with a shitload of AP. He hops into the sky. And what is the cast time looking like? Murmur's going to walk forward, and then all 3 of these people are going to finish their cast time. The 6,000 damage from the Dragon Dive. Kane actually going to remove Courage from Reagan. And here is Flare. Can this get rid of Miranda? 4,200 damage, not quite. Will it be enough? It looks like Ram 9's units are up the bat here. Water Go Dispeller is going to take away the Kane, and it actually puts Halloween Lucia to sleep. That could be pretty massive as the fast cast finishes on Murmur here. Alim going to jump to the skies. Reagan's going to actually probably get rid of the sleep, but he might just get rid of Halloween Lucia in the process. Here's the limit break. Double chaining. She is down for the count, and Alim is now in a 1v3. And honestly, she did really well early in this fight. Holy shit! Wait a second. She just double killed Miranda and Reagan. What is happening? She does have the elemental disadvantage versus Murmur, though, so it might still be a little too late, but Alim kind of popping off here. I gotta admit, this Alim looking really good. Flare coming out for 5,500 damage. Here she goes. She's only got 16 AP, but unfortunately, I don't know what she's going to do. How much damage does this do? Only 2,500. And Murmur being an Earth unit, she should be able to finish this off with a bio for 3,300 damage. Ram 9 and the Rock Boys are going to finish this game 1 with a win, but Alim might just have been the player of the game. Let's head into game number 2. All right, guys, I'm known as a Lightning player, but I'm going to be honest, I've never seen Alum pop off like that. I've never really even used her, but that was very cool to see. But we've got two different compositions in game number 2, as the HP recovery buff coming out from Amnelis, and the entire party is going to catch that. That buff is actually just so ridiculously good, and it looks like Surge's Amnelis Alphonse is the tech. So Alphonse's TMR actually being used by Surge's here, as Alphonse is going to go next with the Zumi stance, give himself a physical barrier and some defense piercing rates. The physical barrier might matter against these double pierce units, but Halloween Lucia, Glassy, Flagbearer, and Sosha looks like a very strong comp as well coming out from this side. Dragons might with the guaranteed hit, protect, all that good stuff. Was that only 2 movement? I might have seen that wrong. Is there bow tie on Sosha? I'm thinking there might be here, as I think, was that Sorcerer's Liberation coming out from Amnelis? Here's the King Bradley TMR on Flag Glassy. She's going to start walking forward. Surges, what does he have? He's got Life Circulator, so that HP Absorb, I take it back. I thought that was the Alphonse TMR. I think that is actually the Urel TMR. I might have looked at that wrong there. Here comes Alfonso. What does he go for? Expertise of the Alchemist, and this is really when Alphonse starts to be online, as he is rocking 16,500 health. My goodness here. Sosha's going to walk forward, and yeah, that looks like a bow tie Sosha. I think she only has 2 movement. Triple Cross is going to get rid of the barrier, also drop agility, but that did basically next to nothing to this tanky boy. And Amnelis doesn't really have anything left to go for. Surges is going to go Leaping Assault, land the slow, and 7,000 damage on the Sosha. Fortunately for her, she's going next. She's going to jump up in the sky. Can she do her best Alum impression and try and take out Surges here, as Arcane Assimilation comes out from Halloween Lucia? This is what you like to see. You like to see her get that follow-up attack right away in the fight. Arcane Shot, not enough to take him out, but maybe Sosha can finish the job, as Flag Glassy's going to walk forward, Triple Cross onto Alphonse. My goodness, he is tanking that insanely well. This is up to a 5 Wind and Pierce chain, and he still did only that much damage. That's crazy, as he's going to heal back from the Boulder Blockade from that heal TMR. A very nice tech coming out from the Rock Boys here on the other side. And Amnelis is going to go Law of Geo-Absorption, 5,400. She didn't need any healing, but she survived. Spear of Sending, 1979. This Alphonse is just ridiculous. I have to imagine he has a ton of Pierce Resist. With some of the cards and the gear, he can stack a ton of it. And obviously, Mr. Aloha's team is pretty Pierce heavy. Punches Flag Glassy in the chest here. She's going to drop. This is now down to a 2v2. The Ternary Seal is going to go off in time. Sosha does not drop, though, surprisingly. Flare comes out from Halloween Lucia. How much does it do? 3,100. Arcane Shot only doing 1,100. Honestly, Alphonse is tanking better than I've seen almost any unit tank ever. This is just absolutely nuts. He's barely below 50% health. I don't even think he got that heal back yet from the Amnelis thing. 3rd time's the charm, doing almost no damage here. And this is just an absolutely ridiculous showcase by Alphonse. Flare coming out into the Amnelis. It's going to do a decent amount of damage, but it's just not enough. Arcane Shot, follow-up attack, and now I'm thinking that self-heal, I think, faded away. I think too many turns happened, so that self-heal is not going to happen, but that is a self-heal and a double kill, and Ram9 and the Rock Boys take the 2-0 victory over Mr. Aloha and Team #Pokesquid. Next up to bat, we've got Garouken of Corked and Screwed versus Shadow 91 of the Logic Breakers. And it looks like Garouken running a double lightning composition into a double water composition of Shadow. So the elemental advantage definitely leaning towards Garouken, but I will say one of those water units is the 30 cost uni, as it looks like Silma is going to go with the AoE buff on the entire party. And here comes Lucio next with Revitalize, getting some bells online, so he's going to have tons of AP for this fight, as Velas should be able to go for a haste on one of these 2 units and himself. Charlotte, I imagine, yes, going for the attract while also getting a tons of hate up, and also some debuff resistance for elements and all sorts of things like that. Uni going to go next with Arrow Fall, so nullifying any sort of haste that may come through on the other side. And here is that Stars of Swiftness coming out from Shadows. So the Super Perrine composition is ready to go here, as she's going to go for Raging Waters, remove Protect on attack, as well as getting some of her stats up. Stars of Swiftness on the Uni, and now the entire squad is very, very speedy. Lucio going to go next. He looks like he is out of buffs here, so he's going to go Bells and basically just walk forward. Silma should be able to go for a fast cast here, but I think if this is on the Charlotte, it's going to be nullified of the haste. In fact, it doesn't matter who it is on now, as Arrow Fall hits all 3 units. There should be a fast cast, which honestly is going to do very little for Garouken here. Swift Punishment comes out from Charlotte, though, and unfortunate for Uni, he is going to drop in one hit. Green going to go next with the elemental disadvantage. What can she do? An okay amount of damage. Honestly, still tanked up pretty well by the Charlotte, who does not have the Protect and Shell online, although she has Protect removal, so I'm not sure how much it would have mattered. Lucio is going to walk forward. He's going to go with the Surge Strike. 4,700 says, hey, you can punch, I can punch harder. And he joins the fight with the Monk sub job. Snow Healing coming out from Velas, going to be a nice heal onto Perrine, though. She is fully healthy. Vortex Kick again, dropping some healing power and getting herself some own defense piercing. And now the question is, can they get rid of this Perrine before Velas keeps healing her back up? My goodness, Silma says, yes, I can. 8,000 damage coming out from the Jamming Thrust is a ton. Surge Strike, a nice follow-up here with 5,400. Velas should be able to full heal her, I think. Is she in range? Yes, she is. Wow, that Snow Healing range is absolutely nuts. But here comes Lucio. Can he finish this off? Surge Strike, I think, is a strike chain. That is a dead Perrine, and it looks like this is an early lead from Garouken here in game number 1. Velas would have to pull off something absolutely nuts. Fast Cast Protection comes out. Not really going to do a whole lot of anything. A Track Wall going to be refreshed onto the Charlotte. And what does Velas have in store? Does he have damage to try and turn this around? He's going to try his best here. Eternal Frost is going to hit both units, but it's not enough to pick up a kill on either unit. Lucio is going to go next. Scintillating Eclipse is almost enough to kill him. Can Silma reach? I don't think she can, but Charlotte should be able to on the next turn here, as she's going to try and fast cast for... Nope, that is a Cura, not a fast cast, as here comes Charlotte, 23 AP. Surge Strike should be enough to kill off the Velas, and Garouken manages to find his way to a Game 1 victory over the Logic Breakers. Game number 2 here, and it looks like Shadow 91 is looking to break the logic by going with a very interesting composition here with a couple of Time Mage supports along with the Winter Luartha. Obviously, it's not technically Time Mage for the Velas, but he does have haste in his kit. Shell's got haste and quicken and all that good stuff. So here we go. Revitalize coming out from Lucio. Looks like the same turn rotation coming out from Garouken's game 1 to game 2. Here's the Crimson Resistance. I think that actually hit all 3 last time, so maybe a slight switch up on some of these agilities on the units, and Velas should be able to go for a haste here. And my question is for Shell. What is she casting here? Is it haste? Is it quicken? It's actually Vitalize, so just getting herself some agility. And now she's going to be extremely speedy. Agility up and haste up. She's going to take turns for free here, as Vitalize is going to go on Winter Luartha here, and Shadow is looking to just break some sort of speed record, as Velas is probably going to go for a haste on Winter Luartha, who now has tons of AP online. Here is the Stars of Swiftness, so Velas is going to refresh his own haste, and everyone is very quick here. Now, is this a Quicken coming out from Shell? I don't know what else she would be going for in this moment, so I assume that it probably is. Is there enough damage in this Winter Luartha? No, it's actually a Vitalize, so it looks like Shell is just going to Vitalize the entire squad. And the way the timing works out here, will she go for a Quicken after this? I think she probably will. The regen buff coming up from Charlotte, so she's got her Protect, Shell, regen, all that good stuff. Catching a fast cast, this time the haste will actually stick, as where game 1 it really didn't mean much of anything. Winter Luartha is going to join the fight. Binding Javelin only does 2,000. Wow, Charlotte, known for not being very good against Pierce, actually soaked that like a champion. And this is looking a little troublesome for Shadow, as Radiant Nova comes from Lucio, 6,200, and drops the Bravery. If she wasn't doing enough damage already, she's really not going to now that her Bravery is dropped. Javelin Fall going to hit both units. A nice little chunk again, but Charlotte is still over 50% here. And Winter Luartha is getting quite low. Now, what is Shell going to go for? It looks like she's not even casting a spell, so I'm not sure what she's going to even try for here. As Charlotte is going to go next, can she find a kill? Surge Strike, 2,700, that is enough. And unless Velas can do a ton of damage, I think this is over for Shadow already. Shadow trying a very interesting composition here, but it looks like it's probably not going to work, as Charlotte is a bit too tanky. And Shell, what does she have? I don't think she's... Oh, she is casting something. So I assume this is... Nope, it's Vitalize. I think Shell is literally here to just Vitalize over and over again. I wondered if Shadow also left on Quicken or something like that, but we haven't seen it yet. As Charlotte's going to a Track Wall, so she's going to have tons of hate here. And these 2 damage dealers in the back, you have to imagine should be able to finish the job. Charlotte being a very effective magic tank, I don't think Velas is going to be able to chew through her. But they're both going to cast spells on Shadow's side here. Crimson Resistance comes up with a couple of different resistances, also some max HP for herself. And Shell is literally just stuck here vitalizing until the day is over. Shell, do you have any other skills turned off? We might find out here. She might finally be going for damage. She walked forward towards the Charlotte. Lucio apparently cannot quite reach for damage. And I want to see a Velis Limb Break or something like that. Speak of the devil, here it is. He's going to go for Icebreaker. And this is going to have to do a ton of damage to have a remote chance of winning this game. 569 is not a ton of damage. He gets himself a nice little physical shield, but that's only going to buy a little bit of time as Terror Slash does a little bit of chip to both units. Shell's going to go Dispel Eroder, so drop the CT, but unfortunately, she doesn't seem to even have damage skills off, so this is just a matter of time. Jamming Thrust will take out the Shell, and these 3 units will be able to stack up onto Velis and claim this Game 2 victory. And for Garouken of Corked and Screwed, this is a massive series win as he is going to jump all the way up to 7 points in the standings. Very, very impressive. GG's to both players. All right, guys, jumping into the series of my team, the Zanarkand Abes on the left side versus Bam's team, the Black Turtles. And it looks like Bam is running a full missile composition, and I am running something kind of similar. I'm running my Jayden Rundle along with Marguerite, who I have not used yet, as Jayden's going to go with the King Bradley TMR, and I've got Rain off to the side using his new 140. It gives him initial hate to be a tank. Zombie transformation coming out from Summer Jayden, though, so we've got some Jayden on Jayden action. Krait's going to pop the aim fire to give some missile attack up, as well as the range composition, some extra range, rather. The Heart of Flutter team are coming out. The Sweetheart Eldir coming out on Rain gives him some unit resistance as well as some extra movement. Fast Cast comes out from Marguerite, and this is where the fight is going to start. Charisse is going to walk forward with the Dragon's Bloodline, attack up on the entire squad, and I'm thinking, can Jayden find a Magic Blast on all 3? You bet he can. Magic Blast hits all 3 members, is basically a triple kill, unfortunately, for Bam. The re-raise coming through for Summer Jayden, but it's going to be all she wrote very quickly here in game number 1, as Jayden is going to catch a Quicken from my Time Mage. He's going to follow this up with a Golden Magic Shot, and this is going to be a game 1 victory for me and the Zanarkand Abes. All right, guys, after game 1, I said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's see if he has an answer for this Quicken Jayden Rundle composition that I've got going for me. I decided just to switch the positioning to the opposite sides, but Bam is running something completely different this time. This is Summer Helena, this is Mish, and this is Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh running the Keen Blade right out of the gate to make sure the party gets going. Mish is going to instantly walk forward and drop a Fire Gut on Rain, but he has so much AoE res, it only does about 1,400 damage. Here's the King Bradley TMR, excuse me, coming out from my Jayden Rundle. Again, Heart of Flutter from Rain. Same composition, just switched the sides, as Marguerite's going to go for another fast cast here on herself. So she's going to get that off, give her some cast time reduction, so she has instant cast Quicken at this moment. And speaking of Quicken, this is, I think, what Gilgamesh is going to channel here, as Deep Sea Impact comes out from Summer Helena, so they are starting to whittle down this Rain. Jayden Rundle, can he reach? No, he cannot. Sniper Stance going to come out, so it gives himself some extra range, but here comes the Quicken from the Gilgamesh, and what can Summer Helena do to my Rain? 168 AP, Deep Sea Impact, going to go again, 4822. He's starting to get pretty low here. Here is the Quicken onto my Jayden, though, so I'm hoping he can find some damage on this turn. I know he won't be able to find the triple kill like last time, but he does find 2 units, and Magic Blast Plus is a double kill, killing out his 2 UR units, and now it is his Mish. And I will say Bam's Mish is built different, but can he overcome a 3v1? It's going to be unlikely, but he has Reflex in his kit, which means he always has a chance, as the reaction block rate has now faded, but it's not going to matter. Unerring Shot comes out for 9,600 damage, and I pick up the Game 2 series win over Bam and the Black Turtles. Game 1 of Greatestness of State Military and Chisei of the Heretics going up against each other. And it looks like Greatestness is opting for a couple of Greatsword users with Hio, Velric, and Nasha. I don't think we have seen a team like this coming out from Greatestness yet this season. Divine Sacrament coming out from Sadali, who is running a very Heretics kind of lineup. It looks like we've got Sadali, we've got Ramza, and then we've got Titus. The AoE Protect buff coming out from Ramza here, and he's going to walk forward. Concentration from Velric. Agility up on both him and the Nasha. also giving some defense piercing rate to himself as well. Keen Blade coming out from Nasha. This is a very clean early turn rotation coming out from Greatestness as the tank is going to walk forward. What does Titus have in store for us? Won't be able to Keen Blade all three or anything like that. In fact, he's running the Sweetheart Ildira TMR, which is a very effective TMR on a tank, giving so much extra movement and unit attack resist. My question is, though, does he have time to use his second buff, his hate buff? Because he currently does not have any sort of hate unless he is running a VC or a bow tie. So, Immortal Spirit coming out from the Nasha. She's got Courage online. She's rocking almost 15,000 health, so she is a very healthy lady. And almost 9k onto the Sodali. He's going to buff a couple of his resistances and just walk forward. But Hio, who is hasted up, going to go Veiled Defiance, Courage for himself as well, so a couple of different units out here with Courage. And it looks like Rams is going to go next with Ultima. I believe this is a big old Dispel. It's also a magic attack, so I'm curious to see how much damage it does. 6,700 onto Nasha, also getting rid of that haste. Pretty big here. The self-heal does land onto the Hio, but concentration just being refreshed as Valor can't quite reach damage. And this is huge. Saintly Fortress coming out from Titus is massive for the Heretics, as now he does have about 12 hate, assuming he didn't have any sort of initial hate. Heal, what kind of damage can he get done? He actually finds an AoE somehow with that angle. Burning Drive hits both Titus and Ramza. Blade Bash going to follow up. The stun does not land, though. And Sodali, what does he go for? This should be damage onto Heal, I believe. And Ramza going to follow up with a Shimmering Blade plus onto Nasha. Rush Not Thy Fate actually goes for Nasha. I thought this was onto Heal, but she's going to live with her Courage, so she has 1 health left. Hazard Break is massive, though. Removing Protect, a very good tech against Ramza. He is down for the count. Hio's going to follow up with Unknown Trader, doing a very sizable chunk to both units. So I think a slight edge to Greatestness here, as Titus is going to go next. He's actually going to go Drain Cyclone. He's going to take out the Nasha, heal himself up a bit as well. Sodali, if he can find a big old Limit Break or something, Indoctrination is actually a very sizable chunk of damage. And Titus still has hate here. Valric's going to go Drain Assault, though, and that's going to heal him up so much. 4,500 health. Hio, can he find a kill onto the Sodali? He's got 39 AP. Vacuum Slash is going to do it. Sodali's going to drop, and that is a Game 1 victory for Greatestness and State Military. Game number 2 here. It looks like Greatestness is running back the exact same comp. Chisei going with a switch-up, though, bringing in Liarte and Renan this time along with the Sodali. Beast Roar comes out from Hio. Defense piercing rate for the whole squad is very nice. Also gives himself a nice heal back counter. And here comes Velric with the concentration buff, so it looks like pretty much the exact same turn rotation coming out from Greatestness. Sodali going to go with Divine Sacrament, getting that elemental resistance, all that kind of stuff for him and Renan. Renan should be channeling his 3-hit barrier as well, allows him to be much bulkier than if he doesn't have that. Nasha going to Keen Blade and walk forward, very similar to last time. Lightning Blessing does finish the cast. I expect this is some sort of haste coming out from Hio like last time. And yes, it is. It is the King Bradley TMR, haste and reaction block rate. And what is Liarte running? It's Padfoot. So it is the Pissarro TMR, haste and hate down. So seeing that they're not running a tank, I actually do like this adjustment because it allows her to stay safe in the backline. But what can she get done from afar? She does have some nice status effects in her kit. Immortal Spirit coming up from Nasha, though. She's going to get a Courage and walk forward. Veiled Defiance again from Hio. So looking almost the exact same as last time from Greatestness. The positioning is looking ever so slightly different, but that's about the only switch up on this side. As what can Renan get done? He's going to go for a Fulgurous Thunderblast here. This is the Limit Break. How much damage does this do to the tank? This should be very telling as to how this battle may go. 9,000 damage is impressive, though, and it increases his Spirit Piercing rate to boot. So that is a very good early turn here for Chisei, who was looking to try and bring this series to a Game 3. Liarte actually cannot quite find any sort of damage here. I expect next turn she should be able to, as Beast Roar is going to be refreshed from Hio. He's almost out of his haste turns. I think he's only got 1 turn left on that. As Divine Veil comes out from the Nasha, she's going to walk forward. And Sodali, what is he channeling? It's going to be a Law of Mitigation. Okay, so with that Devout sub-job online, Shadow Devourer comes out from Liarte doing almost no damage, and it looks like the Poison and Immobilize, neither one of them land, and I think that was nullified actually by that last skill that Nasha used. A good chunk of damage coming out from Hio onto the Renan, though. Can Velric follow it up? Maiming Slash, yes he can, and Renan, even with that barrier, he's going to drop because of these 2 beastly greatsword users. Nasha going to go Guardian Wall, so putting up her own shield. She still has Courage online as well. Sodali's going to have to find some massive damage here, but Shadow Flare might do just that. It's going to drop the AoE resist on the entire party, but it didn't do nearly as much damage as I think Chisei was hoping to see. Hio's going to follow up. He's got 104 AP. He's going to do a lot of damage. Unknown Trader, hate down or not, if it is targeted, but with AoE, it doesn't really matter. He takes out the Liarte in the backline. Sadoli is basically good as gone here, and Greatestness picks up a 2-0 series victory, giving Chisei his first loss of the season. Very, very well played. First game of our match of the week, guys. We've got numero 80 on the left side with the Blind Enthusiasts running the double ice missile combination of Elia Rundal and Eliza along with the Zazan. As the Keen Blade start comes out from MacRain with the Materia Hunters Snow, Glaciella, Wezette, and Valade. Edward Eller TMR coming out from Snow with some unit attack resist and some regen. A very good tank TMR, as I imagine this is an ice vitalization. Yes, it is, coming out from Valade. Accuracy, protect, all that good stuff, and drops his own hate. March of the Dragon Stag Princess comes out from Elia, and I failed to mention, this is a team Numero has not run yet in the WDL, has been sticking to the dark up to this point as tracking techniques comes out from Eliza, but this is looking like a very good initial turn rotation from both sides here, catching those AoE buffs on the entire party. I imagine this is probably a Keen Blade next coming out from Zazan, but Valade should be able to get both of his buffs off here. Barb Blizzara Vitalizer, so very well done by MacRain, getting both of those buffs on all three units. Keen Blade coming out from the Zazan though, and this is the 127 Zazan coming out from Numero, a tech he likes to use very, very well. The Revitalize coming out from Eliza, so she pops bells, she's got tons of AP. Eliza can't quite reach, she goes for nose of the hunt, or nose for the hunt, excuse me, gaining that initial attack range increase as Close Call comes up from Snow, so he is really ready to go. He's got, I believe, his courage, his heal back, he's got regen. Actually, I don't even know that he used courage. Now I'm trying to think about it for a second. As Glaciella walks forward, what can Zazan find? Gonna go for a jamming edge, and it actually misses the Glaciella. So last week we saw some dodgy units coming out from MacRain. Interesting to see that happen here as the Black Rose Helena TMR comes out on Valade, hopefully to try and allow him to survive an AoE shot, but Sharpshoot comes down, drops the agility, but wow, only 1300 damage coming out onto the Snow is incredibly well tanked as the warning volley from Eliza not doing a whole lot more than that. Snow, can he reach? Yes, he can. Smite 2 drops any sort of buffs that Zazan would have had, brings him just below half health. Just a little poke into his eyeball here as Glaciella is going to take him out. It is now a 3v2 in MacRain's favor, and this is looking pretty troublesome for numero 80 on the other side here, unless Elia can drop into the way, getting that piercing attack onto both units. Not sure if the terrain is going to allow it though, and yeah, it's not going to. Hail of Bullets does 1800 to the tank, but unless Eliza can take somebody out, and I just don't think that's going to happen. She's going to try for it though. Cage of Thorns going to drop the ice attack resistance. This might do a decent amount. 3265 is not bad, but Snow's still sitting with 4k as he regens another 12, and Breathing Technique heals him back another 4000. So much sustain coming out of this Snow. Valade doesn't even have to heal if he's just going to heal himself, as Stunning Thrust comes out from Glaciella, absolutely stunning the other side, as Elia is the only unit left alive on numero 80's side. Dispel comes out from Valade, not something I expected to see. Elia, Armor Borer, cannot pick any sort of kills up in this match. I imagine Snow should be able to end it. No, he's just going to heal himself with another Breathing Technique, and he can survive forever into this comp. Very, very well played by MacRain and the Materia Hunters, picking up the Game 1 win in this series. Second game of this series, guys, as numero 80 and the Blind Enthusiasts look to claw it back, trying to bring it to a Game 3. And this is a team that absolutely dumpstered mine. It is Sephiroth, Phoebe, and Little Leela, as it looks like the same initial turn rotation coming out from MacRain with the same 3 units. I've said it before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Words of Reproach, the Edward Eller TMR, looked very, very strong on Snow last time, increasing some of that unit resist and also giving him more and more health regeneration. Valade didn't really have to do much of anything last time, but there's so many nice defensive upgrades on this Snow, but if there's any unit who can get through it, it is that one right there. It is Sephiroth, who is now hasted up with the King Bradley TMR, and I imagine Phoebe should be going for probably a Quicken onto the Little Leela. Last time he was able to do this, he quickens the Little Leela. She moves far enough forward where Phoebe then quickens Sephiroth the next time. It's a very nice tech, as she has both Zombie TMR and Mind Fortress up at this point. A Magic Barrier won't do a whole lot for her, but the re-raise does help. War Maiden's Pride eventually coming out from the Glaciella, just like last time. Aurora of Blessings is a nice switch up coming out from MacRain, though, getting that dark attack resistance up, expecting the dark composition. Close call again from Snow. He's sitting with about 11,500 health. That regeneration and so much healing coming through. Is Sephiroth going to be able to do enough damage to chunk through him? We'll have to find out. Here's the Veil of Woe. This should be a quicken onto him. Actually, she still can reach Little Leela. So this is still on Leela, not Sephiroth. And the silencing spell comes out, lands on the Snow. Not much damage. But the silence really not going to matter. But actually, Glaciella goes for a purification, removes the silence from Snow. That's actually not great for MacRain, as the silence really wouldn't have mattered much at all. Hell's Gate not doing a whole lot, though. Less than 3,000 to both units. I expect quite a bit of AoE and dark resistance coming out from this squad. As this quicken, I think, finally hits Sephiroth. I'm not sure. I think Phoebe has increased quicken range. Maybe she is in range to hit the Little Leela, as Wezette is just going to buff the party. 64 AP on Snow. What can he get done here? Ravage going to hit both units. A good chunk onto the Little Leela here. 5,500 damage. And yeah, these quickens I don't think is what numero 80 wants. He wants it onto the Sephiroth, but it looks like Little Leela is going to be the one doing it. However, I will say that healing power down could end up mattering. We saw a lot of sustain coming out from Snow last time. My goodness, tons of damage coming out from Glaciella, though. That zombie TMR fortunately keeping Little Leela alive. But what can Sephiroth get done here? It's the limit break. This is Octaslash, and this should be very telling as to how this fight is going to go. How much damage does it do to the two units? Just shy of, actually 2,200 I think it was on a Glaciella, about 3,000 onto the Snow. And if you were MacRain, you will take that all day. Another quicken comes out onto Little Leela. She will be able to chain up with this, but it's still only about 1,000 damage. Refreshes that healing power down. So the healing not doing nearly as much. As you can see, that regen is doing about half of what it was before. Snow does claim the kill on Little Leela, but how much damage do they have for this Sephiroth? He can be quite tanky for someone who is not a tank. Kira only heals for about 2,000 on those units. And now, is Phoebe out of quickens, or does she still have one remaining? She starts channeling something. If she is able to... yeah, she's going to die. She is going to drop from a Surge Strike. And will this be the first ever win against numero 80 in the Blind Enthusiast? He is undefeated in his series record all season, but he says, hold on a minute. Telluric Fury doing a lot of damage. Not quite killing Glaciella, but a good chunk. Smite 2 comes out from Snow, but he is out of AP at this moment. Wezette going to go for a heal, but again with that healing power down, that Cura probably not going to be enough. Glaciella needs to do a ton of damage here. Pummel is a lot. Sephiroth barely surviving. He is 71 AP, but he's not going to have the damage to take them out. Hell's Gate comes out, kills the Glaciella here. It is now down to a 2v1, but honestly, unless he reflexes a ton, Breathing Technique is doing almost nothing for Snow, actually. He has 9 AP and basically nothing coming out from these heals. If he were to physical reflex once or twice, Sephiroth maybe could pull this out, but that is a very tanky Snow. It looks like the healing power down maybe finally dropped off, because that Curata coming out from Wezette actually did a ton. Only 9 AP, again another Breathing Technique, and there it is, confirmed. The healing power down is now gone, and I don't imagine Sephiroth is going to have enough in the tank to get through all this, even with some reflexes, as a full life comes out onto Glaciella. She's going to come back. It's now a 3v1. It is now a 3v0, and MacRain and the Materia Hunters pull off the 2-0 series victory over the previously undefeated Blind Enthusiasts. Very, very well played. 4 weeks done with, 5 weeks left to go. This is how the Wezette standings shake out, guys. And we've got a two-way tie in first place. MacRain and the Materia Hunters and Greatestness of State Military. But as I said before, MacRain has the head-to-head record. He won that series last week. So MacRain, who was voted to be last place in our pre-season draft rankings, we all know there was no way that was going to happen. But he is currently sitting in first place, not last place, completely flipping the script. But another new player of Greatestness doing very, very well. Speaking of new players doing well, Chisei of the Heretics and numero 80 of Blind Enthusiasts, only 1 point behind these two. These standings are incredibly close at this moment. Ram9 in 5th place with the Rock Boys with 8 points. My team, the Zanarkand Abes, with 7, along with Garouken's Corked and Screwed, same deal. Shadow91 of the Logic Breakers with 6 points in 8th place. 25th BAM of the Black Turtles with 2, and Mr. Aloha of Team Pokesquid with 1. Honestly, guys, very similar to what I said in the Leonis division. This division is insanely competitive. You can see with the standings, 3 points differentiate 1st and 7th place. 4 points between 8th. Like, this is pretty tight. 5 weeks left to go. It is anybody's guess who's going to be the top 5 teams to try and make the playoffs. As I said before, at the beginning of the season, top 5 make the playoffs. 4th and 5th play each other in a best of 3 before the top 16 kicks off. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. You really want to try and be top 3 if you can, because you're guaranteed 1 round further no matter what. But top 5 at least gives you a chance to be in the tournament. So I hope you guys enjoyed these games. I had a blast casting them, and we'll see you guys next week. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. You know what to do. Leave me a comment down below. Have a wonderful day.